Turns out I'm not the only woman in the world to be left in abject poverty following divorce because of the teachings of the Mormon Church, according to an article in the Salt Lake Tribune this past Friday. This story was brought to my attention by several of my followers who thought that it was about me because there's a woman in the beginning of the article. It says her name is Allison, who goes to the grocery store following separation from her husband and tries to buy some groceries only to have her credit card declined. And so everybody thinks that that was me, that I was just using a pseudonym because it says that she was afraid of her husband. And yes, that did actually happen to me. Just a couple days after my marriage ended, I went to Trader Joe's. I bought 2 bags of groceries. My total was just over $43. My card was declined, and I discovered that my husband took everything. He had cleaned out the bank accounts. I never got that money back. I never saw that again. And apparently I'm not the only person that happened to, because I am not the Allison in the article. I was not interviewed for this article. It says in the article that the former member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints had just obeyed her faith leader's counsel to prioritize motherhood, and as a result was paying a very steep price, and that this story can be found literally all over Utah. I love that the Tribune is talking about what I've been talking about on my platforms and magazine interviews and podcasts on NPR radio and an upcoming movie for years. That the family proclamation, which was a revelation from the Mormon prophet, released in 1995, which unfortunately for me was the year that I got married, reinforced for the modern Mormon woman that she was not supposed to work. She was not supposed to have a job. She was supposed to just stay home, be a mom, and be dependent on her husband. I was taught that as long as my husband was alive and able-bodied, that I was supposed to stay home with kids. Because in part, like the women in the article, I believed that God didn't want me to make money at all. So after my first baby was born, I quit. I stayed home, and I would not work again until my marriage ended when I was 44 years old. And it's really sad. I always felt like I had a good personality and I was hardworking. And if something happened to Jake or something happened to our marriage, that I'd be able to get a job, right? Like, can I just get a job if I want to? And I found that to be an absolute impossibility. I had people laugh at me on the phone. I had people just not respond to my resume. The one job interview that I got after my divorce, the man scolded me and told me that from my resume, he thought that I had run a business, but it turns out that I was just my husband's helper. And he's like, if your husband wants to come interview for the job, that'd be great, but I don't want the wife of the man that owned the business.